You are welcome to another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. Looking at the way R. Kelly's case was handled with plenty of sentiment and the judges seemingly under pressure to appease a few groups of people and organizations, as opposed to making sure justice was served, which is the sole mandate of the judicial system of this nation, there is reason to be concerned as to how celebrity defendants are handled in general. R. Kelly's legal team and everyone who observed the trial processes closely argue that Mr. Kelly was simply used as an example and condemned beyond the facts of his case, and also punished more harshly due to his public image rather than following the specific facts of the case against him. The conviction of high-profile individuals has long been a subject of public interest, but few cases have captured as much attention as Kelly's. His legal battle has stirred heated debates across social, political and legal circles, raising an important question as to whether his conviction was a product of an impartial judicial process, or if it was driven by public pressure and high-profile activism. In recent years, the interplay between media activism and justice has become more pronounced, particularly with the rise of social media and the democratization of information. Bloggers, activists, and ordinary citizens alike can now amplify their voices, rallying millions around causes and legal cases that might otherwise have been confined to courtroom proceedings. While this newfound visibility has driven much-needed attention to social issues, it has also blurred the lines between justice and popular opinion, often leading to complex legal outcomes like R. Kelly's. It has therefore become important to explore the dynamics behind Kelly's conviction and to question whether it was truly based on consistent legal standards, or if external forces played an outsized role in shaping the outcome. Public pressure and activism are not new phenomena in high-profile legal cases, but their scale has evolved drastically in the age of digital communication. Historically, community groups, civil rights organizations and the press have exerted pressure on legal systems advocating for or against certain legal outcomes. However, before, this pressure was often local or simply national in scope, and confined to the reach of traditional media. Today the landscape has changed. Social media platforms, 24-hour news cycles, and viral content creation have magnified public involvement in celebrity trials, turning individual cases into global movements. Public opinion is no longer limited to those directly affected by the legal proceedings. Now a single post can mobilize millions worldwide, creating an unprecedented scale of influence on legal matters. This change is perhaps most evident in Kelly's case, which attracted significant attention from prominent activists, celebrities and various media outlets. The widespread coverage and emotional intensity surrounding his trial transformed what could have been an ordinary legal proceeding into a cause célèbre. Kelly's legal troubles began with accusations which, while serious, did not initially garner widespread media attention. Early reports suggested wrongdoing, but the case remained relatively low profile in its initial stages. It wasn't until bloggers, activists and advocacy groups began highlighting Kelly's case that it started to gain public attention. Notably, several influential figures championed his case, calling for accountability and causing disproportionate alarm. Activists then drew attention to larger systemic issues, framing Kelly's case as emblematic of broader social concerns, as though to suggest that Mr. Kelly was responsible for all our social problems in the country. The involvement of high-profile activists such as the Me Too quickly attracted media outlets, which began to cover the case rather extensively. News stories, opinion pieces and investigative reports became a daily staple, fueling a growing public pressure. The media not only reported on Kelly's case but often framed it within broader social justice movements, giving it a moral weight that transcended the specifics of the legal proceeding.
Lisa, there are fans that say all they care about is his music. They don't care about the accusations or the allegations. Is that frustrating for you?
It is. It's very frustrating because
As the media coverage intensified, so did the public's interest in the case. Social media platforms became arenas for debate, with many users expressing strong opinions against R. Kelly. Negative viral posts assuming guilt then spread like wildfire, with many calling for Kelly to be held accountable before his trial even begun. The surviving R. Kelly documentary made things even worse, causing public sentiment and contaminating jurors' minds. Despite the media attention and public interest, Kelly's case ultimately moved to the courtroom. However, even within the legal proceedings, it became clear that public pressure was not easily confined to the outside world. The jury selection process, and even the judges' decisions, appeared to be largely influenced by the intense public scrutiny. When Kelly was eventually convicted, the response from the public was mixed. While a few celebrated the verdict as a victory for justice, many others questioned whether the legal process had been tainted by the overwhelming public pressure. For critics of the conviction, the outcome felt more like the result of an orchestrated campaign than a fair and impartial application of the law. One of the most significant concerns in Kelly's case is whether the legal system upheld its commitment to applying consistent standards. The rule of law is supposed to ensure that legal cases are decided based on evidence, impartiality, and procedure, not on public opinion or outside influences. Yet in such high-profile cases as Kelly's, maintaining this neutrality has proved difficult. In Kelly's trial, the intense media coverage and public pressure may have influenced the decisions of key players in the legal process. The jury, for instance, was evidently swayed by the overwhelming public sentiment surrounding the case, with some confessing to have passionately watched and followed the surviving R. Kelly documentary. Likewise, attorneys on the government's side tailored their arguments to appeal to the court of public opinion rather than strictly adhering to legal principles. Also, the judges overseeing the case faced immense scrutiny from the public and the media. This scrutiny could have influenced judicial decisions, from rulings based on inadmissible evidence to wrongful sentencing. While judges are expected to remain impartial at all times, the reality is that they are not immune to external pressure, particularly in cases as high-profile as Kelly's. Kelly's conviction raises broader questions about the relationship between public opinion, activism, and the legal system. In an age where information spreads rapidly and public pressure can mount within hours, how can the legal system remain impartial? We are now seeing a trend where high-profile activism rather than consistent legal standards determines the outcome of certain cases, and this is so wrong. Critics of the R. Kelly conviction worry that public pressure has begun to distort legal processes in this country. They argue that if legal outcomes are driven by activism and media coverage rather than evidence and procedure, the fundamental principles of justice are at risk. In Kelly's case, therefore, they suggest that the verdict may have been less about the facts and more about appeasing an outraged public. This is a critical point for the Supreme Court to consider. If the panel of Supreme Judges believes that Kelly's conviction was disproportionately harsh, they might choose to reduce his sentence or reverse the decision entirely. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also, remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.